Hi, I'm Noah Pappas. I'm a board member on the OCF Board of Directors, and I'm here to talk about Real Break. I personally went on 3 Real Break trips when I was in college in 2001 to the Hogar Raphael Ayu Orphanage. That was the first Real Break trip there. In 2002 to Project Mexico, and in 2004 to Karditsa, Greece. Again, that was the first Real Break trip to that location. All three were very different trips, and I have had a profound, lasting effect on my life. To this day, I carry around a picture from my Guatemala trip in my wallet. It reminds me of what I saw there and what the effect of seeing how the rest of the world lives, and kind of made a promise that I made to myself that I would always remember those orphanages and those people who are less fortunate, and do what I can to help them out. So, signing up for Real Break. That's the first step in going. The next step is fundraising. In this little web video, I can offer some suggestions on how to best raise the funds. These methods worked for me, but it's not the only way. Be creative. Number one, start early and don't get intimidated. So, starting early. It's important because potential donors may need time to consider the gift, and you'll need time to prepare materials for them. $2,000 might seem like a lot of money, but if you're committed and genuine, the money will seemingly raise itself. All of the trips I went on, I was able to raise more than the amount required. The first trip to Guatemala, I raised more than double, and one girl on our trip raised 4 times the amount. The keys are to be honest to yourself and your donors, diligent in your fundraising efforts, and be thankful to God for your opportunity and your donors. The second step that I would always take is I would make a list of potential donors. Your network, your family members, your friends, family friends, godparents, parishioners at your church at home, parishioners at your church at school. They don't have to be rich, nor should you worry that asking might be off-putting, or they might be like, oh, why is Noah or why is Susie asking me for money? Doesn't she have her own? Doesn't it? No. Think of it as an opportunity to bring them on their trip with you. People want to give money. People are especially receptive to giving money to charity where they know where the money's going, some tangible output that they know. So whenever you're going, whether it be to an orphanage in Mexico and you're helping out there, maybe helping build a house for a needy family, or you're going to the Emmaus House in New York and working there, it's very clear, tangible outcomes. It's important that these donors have a connection to you, to OCF, or to the location that you're going. If the donor has one of these connections, you can build the others. So say your buddy has a connection to you. Obviously, it's your buddy. You can build up a connection to the, say, place that you're going. They might know somebody from Mexico, or they might know somebody from Guatemala, or they might care about impoverished areas or other aspects. You can make that tie, and then they're going to be more likely to help you out. They could have a tie to OCF. Maybe they're a former OCF person, and then you could introduce them to yourself, and then they have that connection to you and would be willing to donate to your trip. And another thing, this wasn't around whenever I was trying to raise money, but you can use Facebook to go through your friend list and say, oh, that person might be good. You can email your parents and get contact information, but especially when you're asking and looking for this information, look for addresses, because the number 3 thing that you need to do is, now that you have a list of people, you're going to write a letter. So why are you writing a letter and not an email? A letter makes it more official. It instills confidence in your potential donor that the money is going to a good cause. It's not just you're asking money to go on your woo spring grape trip. Emails are every day. but a personally addressed envelope that arrives through snail mail isn't as much. Just think of the last time you got a personal letter. Thus, email comes across as maybe a little bit lazier and non-committal. Um, the letter, like I said, has a more personal touch. And depending on your relationship with the person, a phone call could also be appropriate. So, say it's your parents, you know they're going to probably support you. You may still want to send them a letter and make it more official because they might appreciate the initiative that you're taking to be responsible with this fundraising project, and you're not just going to lean on them for the funds for this trip. It was in the letter. First, you have a greeting and a topic sentence. The topic sentence needs to explain succinctly what it is you're doing. Um, and you're writing to ask for money for a trip. You're writing to ask them to go on this journey with you. It's good to include a description of OCF, Real Break, and the specific trip that you're going on. It's also good to add in a personal touch. Why are you going on this trip? What inspired you? Be specific, and it might be something that you think is general, or maybe it's a specific instance. Or if you're going a second time, why are you deciding to do a trip again? If you have gone before, include lessons that you've learned from previous Real Break trips, or a quick, short experience that can have a tie to why this is a worthwhile thing. Then you invite them to participate with you. This could be through prayer or donation. Remind them that a donation can be tax deductible. Then you need to have clear instructions on how they are going to donate to you. They can do this online. You can include donation forms. And if you're really slick, you could include an addressed and stamped envelope, making sure that the donation gets qualified in a certain manner whenever it gets to OCF. Then finally, have a thank you and your contact information so they can get in touch with you with any questions. One last thing on the letter. Writing a general draft to all your potential donors is a great way to start. The next step is to make it a personal touch to each one. Maybe a handwritten note to your uncle saying, hey, whenever I get back from this trip, we should get together for a run or going for a golf outing, and I'll tell you all about it. Or you could just say, hi Jack, hope you're doing well. Give me a call sometime. That personal touch lets them know that it's not just this general form letter, and it's not just another number that you're sending this out to. Another way that you can raise funds is to talk to your church. This can be your church at home or your church at school. Either way, talk to your priest first and ask if you can speak after liturgy to the parish. And in this talk, you want to include some of the same stuff that goes in the letter. What OCF is, who you are, what you're going to be doing on your Real Break trip, what Real Break is, and just be natural and yourself. If there is another person from your home parish that's going on your break, or your whole OCF is going together, you maybe could combine efforts and then split the raised funds. With this strategy, you may reach folks that you normally wouldn't, that you didn't know that they wanted to donate or had any sort of desire to. People in your parish that you maybe just don't know. And it may also prompt a lot of individual cash donations on the spot. So that you might give this presentation at church and people might just hand you $5. It's important that even with these maybe smaller donations, that you treat them with the same respect and gratitude as the larger donations, because you could build a relationship with these people, and maybe next year if you go, you could have a higher amount from them. Sometimes individual organizations in the church, like the Philoptochos Women's Group or the Men's Group, or even the teens might want to help out. So your priest might suggest, well, why don't you talk to this group? And you give a talk to that group specifically. Number 5 tip, be honest. Be honest to yourself, be honest to your donors, and be clear where the money will be going, how it will be spent. That way, people will be more willing to donate as they know it's a worthy cause. Last, and most important, say thank you. You were able to build connections with your donors. Now keep them. You invited them in on your trip, show them pictures, tell them stories. Share how you have grown as a person. They can see how your life has changed, and they can see how your actions in the particular place affected uh, that particular location. And in a sense, they then get to realize what a gift it was from God that they were given this opportunity to take part in this wonderful program with you. Specifically, this could mean sending out thank you letters with some pictures, um, or if you receive from your funds from your church or church organizations, another presentation with a slideshow. If you're sincere in your gratitude, the seeds will be planted for years to come in those donors and maybe even beyond that. Whenever I wrote my thank you letter for that first trip, my grandparents were so proud they sent it to the Word magazine and it was published for the whole archdiocese to read. And that type of experience that type of publicity can foster growth and knowledge about the program, so future donors will have that connection. So you never know how far that thank you is going to go. So the 6 steps we talked about today are: 1, start early and don't be intimidated. 2, make a list of potential donors. 3, write a letter soliciting funds. 4, talk to your church. 5, be honest. And 6, say thank you. Remember, people want to give, and all you have to do is ask. Then, all you have to do is say thank you. It's not just about your trip, it can also be about growing knowledge of OCF and the needy locations you're going to. Thank you, and I hope you enjoyed this presentation as I'm sitting on this beautiful fall day on my porch.